Hey everybody, welcome back to another math video. Today we're going to talk about intervals of increase and decrease as we observe the graph of a polynomial function. And so really what are we talking about here? Well, we're just talking about the behavior of the graph as we move from left to right, or in other words, as x is getting bigger. So as we move from left to right across this graph, what is the behavior? Well, if the graph is going up, that means the graph is increasing. And if the graph is going down, the graph is decreasing. And you can see here the graph goes back up. So we have a couple changes of directions. We have two intervals of increase. So as we move from left to right, you can see the graph is going up here, or in other words, the y value is getting bigger, or the slope is positive. We get to this relative maximum point, we change direction, and now the graph is going down, or it is an interval of decrease. We have a negative slope, y is getting smaller, and then we get to this point and we start increasing again. So the way that we describe this is by showing an interval, and we're going to show these interval in terms of x. You always want to describe these intervals of increase and decrease in terms of x, and we're going to use some inequalities. So x is going to go right in the middle, and we want to show a value of x that's between two numbers because we are showing an interval. So how far left do we go? Well, it's really as far negative x as we can go. So we're going to start at negative infinity. All right, and negative infinity is going to be less than x, or in other words, x is going to be greater than negative infinity. And we want to just use the less than sign, don't include the equal, because you can't have anything really equal to infinity. Infinity is an idea, a concept, so we really can't have anything equal to it. So we just have the less than sign. And then x is going to be less than or equal to, well, what is this point that it's increasing to? Well, we want the value of x. So it is at right here where it crosses. And so we have a value here of -1, and this is a value of -0.5 or -1/2. So x is -0.5 here. So from the interval where x is negative infinity to x is less than -0.5, this graph is increasing. The y value is getting bigger. So when we write this interval in terms of inequalities, make sure that you use two less than symbols. And when we have the number that's actually on the graph, we're going to include the equal sign. But when it's infinity, we don't have the equal sign. So what is this really saying? It's saying that this graph is increasing when x is between a value of negative infinity and -0.5. If we chose any section on that part of the graph, it is increasing. But that's not the only interval of increase on this graph. We also have, we have when this graph is from this point and on, or when it goes to positive infinity. So where does it start here? This value, well, this is 3. So our value here of x is 2.5. So x equals 2.5 here. So we're going to start left to right. So it's when x is between 2.5. So we'll use less than or equal to this time. Since 2.5 is on the graph, x is less than, now positive infinity. All right. So again, this is saying this graph is increasing between when x is between 2.5 and positive infinity. Any section of the graph between those, it's increasing. To represent the interval of decrease, well, again, we just have to find those 2 points where this graph is decreasing from. So it starts from left to right. It starts at -0.5, less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to right here, which is 2.5. So this is our interval where the graph is decreasing. It's decreasing or going down when x is between -0.5 and 2.5. So again, to recap, observe the graph from left to right. If the graph is going up, it's increasing. If the graph is going down, it is decreasing.